The power of fear can be more devastating than the power of a weapon, and the Paris gun was designed precisely to exploit that power. While it boasted incredible destructive force, its true impact may lie in the terror it instilled, a symbol of the desperate and extreme lengths reached during one of history's most brutal conflicts. The Paris gun was designed by Fritz Rosenberger, an engineer from the German arms manufacturer Krupp, who pitched a radical idea to the German High Command, a colossal gun capable of launching shells over 100 kilometers. His bold concept quickly caught the attention of Field Marshal Paul von Hindenburg, Chief of the General Staff, and his deputy, General Erich Ludendorff, who greenlit the project. In less than a year, they unveiled a working prototype which made history with its first successful firing on November 20th, 1917. And after extensive testing and fine-tuning with different propellants and projectiles, the Krupp team pushed the gun's range even further, achieving an astonishing 125 kilometers. Officially known as the Kaiser Wilhelm Geschütz, the Germans hoped that this new superweapon would break the morale of the French people and force the Allies into a more favorable peace agreement. The design and construction of the Paris gun were remarkable feats of engineering. It featured a barrel over 34 meters long, or roughly 111 feet. To put that into perspective, imagine a barrel stretching about the length of a 10-story building. It was so long that the gun required a custom rail car to support and transport the barrel. The gun's sheer size and weight required an external truss system to be clamped along the barrel to prevent it from sagging under its weight. This massive weapon weighed about 256 tons, and it was mounted on a rotating base, allowing for adjustments when aiming. It needed an entire crew of up to 80 men just to prepare and fire a single shot. The ammunition for the Paris gun was equally impressive. It fired shells that weighed between 210 and 264 pounds. And these were not ordinary shells. They were designed to be aerodynamic and to maintain velocity over long distances. The gun could fire these shells at a muzzle velocity of over 5,000 feet per second, a speed so fast that the shells would exit the Earth's atmosphere, reaching an altitude of over 40 kilometers or 25 miles high before then arcing back down toward their target. It made the Paris gun the first human-made object to reach the stratosphere. The gun's firing position was hidden deep in the forests of Crêpe, northeast of Paris, far beyond the visibility of Allied forces. But the Paris gun was not without its limitations. The weapon's accuracy was poor due to extreme distance, and the gun's barrel suffered significant wear and tear with each shot. The intense pressure of firing caused the barrel to expand and erode, and it meant that each shell had to be slightly larger than the last. Over the months it was in operation, the Paris gun fired around 300 shells toward Paris. Each shot took about 3 minutes to travel from the gun's position to its target. The shells hit randomly across the city and caused over 250 deaths and injured more than 600 people. The heaviest casualty came on March 29, 1918, when a shell struck the Saint-Gervais church, collapsing the roof and killing 91 people during Good Friday services. The psychological impact of these attacks was significant. Paris was a city under siege from an enemy it couldn't see. No airplane, no bombers, no zeppelins, just the occasional seemingly random explosion from a far-off weapon. Yet despite its terrifying capabilities, the Paris gun was not the strategic game-changer that Germany had hoped for. The shelling caused fear and chaos in Paris, but it didn't break the morale of the French people or their allies. In terms of military effectiveness, the gun's impact was more symbolic than strategic. The slow rate of fire, the decreasing accuracy, and the logistical nightmares of maintaining the gun limited its practical use on the battlefield. The Allies eventually advanced into the region where the gun had been positioned, forcing the Germans to retreat and dismantle the Paris gun to prevent its capture. The remaining pieces of the weapon were destroyed, buried, or lost, leaving behind only a few photographs, some technical drawings, and scattered fragments. Even though it did not change the outcome of the war, the Paris gun marked a turning point in the way nations thought about warfare. It demonstrated that no city, no matter how distant, was truly safe from the reach of advanced weaponry. The concept of long-range artillery would later evolve into the rockets and missiles that defined much of 20th century warfare. But it was the Paris gun that first showed the world what was possible. Today, the Paris gun stands as a symbol of both human ingenuity and the lengths to which nations will go in times of conflict. It represents a moment when the battlefield expanded beyond sight and beyond sound and reached into the heart of civilian life. The physical gun itself may be lost to history, but its legacy lives on, a reminder of a time when the lines between military and civilian targets began to blur, and when distance was no longer a guarantee of safety during times of war. Thank you for your time here on Boots on the Hill. We appreciate it so much. Please hit the subscribe button and don't forget to click the thumbs up button and ring the bell for notifications.